Welcome to Science Lab with Mrs. Keener. I'm going to show you how you can build your own volcano. I'll show you how to make one using a cardboard box. And if you don't have a cardboard box, that's fine. I'll show you how to use books instead. If you have a cardboard box, you'll need to cut a notch in one edge. The notch should be big enough so that your hand can fit through it. Next, you're going to need a tissue, and most tissues have two layers. If yours has two layers, I want you to separate them. The cardboard box will represent layers of the earth, and the thin tissue is going to go over the hole, and that's going to represent a spot in the layer of the earth that's gotten very thin because of erosion or other reasons. We need to tape that tissue down onto the top of the box so it covers up the notch. So imagine that this is a part of the earth that has layers, and the top layer, the one that's closest to us, has gotten very thin. If you don't have a cardboard box, just make 2 stacks of books and put a tissue on top of the books. I don't want to put tape on my books, so I'm going to add a couple of books on top of the tissue to hold it in place. Again, the space needs to be big enough so that your hand can fit in it. Next, we need to make our lava, or magma. Take a piece of scrap paper and tear it up into little bits and crumple them into little balls. When rock is underground and is under pressure, it can be very hot, and it can be so hot that it melts. When it's underground, we call it magma. It's going to be lava as soon as it comes to the surface. Let's put red or orange things inside to remind us that it's very hot in there. I'm also going to add some extra tape and press it down to make sure the tissue stays in place. Okay, maybe some tectonic plates are moving around. It's getting very, very hot. The rock is so hot, it's boiling hot. And it's starting to press on all the layers. And it presses on the thin spot and it breaks through. And that's a volcanic eruption. When the magma presses on it so hard, the thin spot breaks and lava comes flowing out. And that's our volcano.
Wow, thanks, Mrs. Keener. That was so cool. I'm going to build my own volcano, but you know what? I'm not building an earth volcano. I'm going to build an anger volcano. Did you know that sometimes your feelings act just like the earth and the magma and the volcanoes that Miss Keener just showed you? I call this the anger volcano. Anger is a feeling that always comes second. That means that there's another feeling that came before you started feeling angry. If you look at this picture, it shows you how when the volcano erupts, anger comes out. But underneath the surface is where all these other feelings are. These feelings came first. And if you're under too much pressure, these feelings will erupt just like the volcano. Let's go take a look. Here we have my volcano that I built using these stacks of games. Now, it looks a little busy and it's hard for you to see the anger volcano back there. So I'm going to just cover these up just to cut down on the visual clutter so you can pay attention better to what's going on inside. Okay. Now, as Miss Keener said, in your earth volcano, the piles of books or the box represents the layers of the earth. But in your anger volcano, that represents your body. And inside, where you would have magma brewing down there, we're going to put all of our feelings. So I wrote down the feelings names on these Post-its. This one says overwhelmed, fear, envy, disappointment, rejection. That's a big one. That causes anger a lot. Injustice, when something is unfair. Frustration. Frustration turns into anger very often. Shame. Shame, a lot of times when we try to hide our shame, we use anger to cover it up. Unsure. We don't want people to know that we don't know. Helpless. Hurt. Many times when we feel hurt, we don't talk about hurt, we let it turn into anger. Jealousy. Embarrassed. Have you ever gotten angry when you were embarrassed? Guilt. So all of these feelings can be swimming around inside your body. But when life happens and you start to feel yourself be under pressure, just like when the tectonic plates cause pressure, your life events can cause pressure. And all of these feelings can get mixed up, or one of them can get really, really strong. Before you know it, those feelings can come up and you burst out, and now you're yelling and screaming at everyone, and you're throwing things and getting all upset because your feelings erupted into anger. So, what do we do about this? Well, you may not know that whenever you feel angry, if you take the time to think about what feelings came before your anger, that can actually help you calm down. Taking the time to figure out what feelings came before your anger can stop you from exploding like a volcano. Now let's take a look at some slides that will help explain what you just saw. Here is our anger volcano, and this slide gives you the 4 lessons that I hope you will learn from this lesson. Anger always comes second. You had a feeling before you got angry. What was it? Feelings turn into anger when you hide them too long, they get too intense, or they get mixed with too many other feelings. Anger can be destructive. Often when you express anger, others feel defensive and can respond with anger too. But if you talk about the feelings that came first, the feelings underneath your anger, your conversation will be constructive. You're more likely to be heard, and you'll be more likely to be able to solve the problem that caused your anger. And the last lesson, taking the time to figure out what the feeling is underneath your anger can actually help you get calm. Taking the time to stop and think what feeling came first can help you get calm so that you can have a constructive conversation. Those are our 4 lessons from the anger volcano. This slide is a comparison between the anger volcano, the earth volcano, and our model that we built with the box or stack of books. Here you can see what each part of our model relates to the earth volcano or the anger volcano. These slides will be made available to you so that you can take a look at them anytime you want. I hope you enjoyed the lesson about the anger volcano. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Just send me an email at masonr@oradellschool.org. Thanks so much.